Please welcome Reverend Devin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, so today's talk is called Get Real. So I can't really talk about getting real until I kind of address sort of what's going on in the world, right? Because let's face it, there's a lot happening, right? There's a lot of fear and anxiety and division, hate, and violence, like at a whole new level. I mean, a whole new level. And this teaching does not pretend that these conditions don't exist, that this feeling, these emotions, this stuff that's going on, we don't pretend like it's not real. Because a whole new level. How could we? And this teaching, however, this teaching does not pretend that these conditions don't exist at all times. That these feelings, these emotions, this stuff that's going on. This teaching requires us to remember that we are powerful, and that thought is still creative. That the law of cause and effect has not left the house. It hasn't. That the law of cause and effect works. Our thoughts are creative. Our words are powerful, and our emotions are to be honored. This teaching requires us to remember that love always has the final word. And that as independent individuals, we don't need to buy into crazy and fear. We don't need to do that. We can acknowledge it, but we don't need to focus on what's not working and what is wrong. We still have the ability to visualize a world that works. We still have the ability to affirm our truth and to stay in gratitude. Because you can't be in fear and in gratitude at the same time. So, Ernest Holmes, our founder, wrote, "In time of confusion and unrest, the answer lies not in fear or resistance, but in our ability to know the truth, that love is the greatest healing power in the universe." Love is what we are by divine nature. So I invite all of us just to stay awake and aware and recognize our power, our individualized power to choose to focus on what is working and bless what is not working. Ernest Holmes wrote a prayer for our country. I've printed off some copies. They're on the information table. It's short, it's sweet, and I invite you to take one home because, creative thought is completely and totally present in this moment. And now, let's get to the theme for the day, shall we? A man was filling out a personality test online, and the test asks, "Who are you? Who are you really?" And he just paused for a second. And he's like, "Well," he starts typing, "it depends on who's asking, what time of the day it is, and whether I've had my coffee or not." So true, isn't it? We play so many roles. We wear so many different hats. All of us do. And sometimes we tend to lose sight of our essence underneath all of that. It is that essence of ours, our unique expression of that one divided. It is that one that is always unchanging and always available and always full of love. And so today, I ask you authentically, who are you? Who really are you? And that's an important question, because when we live from our authentic self, when we allow our real selves to suit up and to show up, I believe spirit is like, yes, let's go play. You know? We get to listen more. We don't have to worry about if we're looking right, if we're saying the right things, if we're doing the right things. When we're following our heart and we're being our real selves, then we are truly that healing presence in the world. And this just isn't some self-help pep talk. Really, it's not. It's the truth. It's about when we get real with ourselves, what we're really thinking, what we're really feeling, right? Who we really are. And we stop judging it and labeling it, and we just accept it and love it. There's such power in that. When we let go of the illusion, the denial, the different masks that we wear, when we let go of that and just show up, we're in the flow. I think we cut ourselves off from the flow when we start being too concerned, right? About out there. When we get real, we can experience more peace. We can develop a deeper connection with others because we don't have to be talking all the time, right? We can just sit and be quiet and listen. I mean, what a gift is that? We can allow our own healing to take root and share that healing experience, that healing energy with others. And I believe when we become authentic, clarity shows up. There's a natural compassion that we have not only for ourselves, which has to happen first, before we can give that compassion out. Spiritual clarity somehow makes its way. The more real we are, the more we can be a healing presence for ourselves and for others. So today, I want to explore 4 stages of evolution in a way you might not have heard of before. There's a Reverend Sharma gave a class on these, and they really hit home for me, because these stages are very fluid, right? We are in different stages of our evolution, depending on different phases in our life or even different situations that we're in. So I invite you, as we go through these, to think, okay, this is where I'm at in my life as it relates to, I don't know, a job, a relationship, a health, a whatever, pick something. Is this where I'm at in that stage? And there's 4 of them. And I'm going to start with the first one, which is the mortal stage. So this is the starting point for most of us, right? Most of us came into this teaching, we came into a spiritual path, right? How many came into this teaching and spiritual path because life is just so fantastic, right? Yeah, I got to put my hand down for that. Yeah, no, in that moral stage, we're struggling. We're struggling. We feel powerless and small and misunderstood. We feel like nobody's hearing us. We're victims. It's like the world is happening to us. Anybody ever feel that way? Anybody have a point in their life, a situation in their life right now where you feel that way? Ernest Holmes reminds us, we must heal ourselves of the idea that we are bound by anything outside of our own thought, which takes us back to remembering how powerful we are. We've all been in that place of struggle and quiet desperation, and I think most of us still have those areas in our life where it's like, why me? And that is why community, I believe, is so important. You know, the importance of community cannot be overstated at that stage. That's why Brent's poem was so wonderful today. You know, when you are part of a community, you're no longer isolated, right? We come into this gathering knowing that we are loved and respected, that we are heard, that we are not alone on this path, and we're not the only ones who have a place of struggle. We come into a gathering, a spiritual gathering like this, just knowing who and whose we are and allowing everyone to remind us of that. Again, this is not a place and this is not a teaching where we pretend. It's where we get real and we allow that vulnerable part to kind of peek through, because everyone here has been there, has done that, and is ready to share, ready to participate. So how do we get honest with ourselves? Well, we start by creating a space to get quiet. We start by being willing to be in our own company. And then we participate in community. And we ask some questions of ourselves, like, what am I avoiding? What do I pretend around? Where am I not being me? Here's a good one. Where am I blaming others instead of taking responsibility? Because when we're at that mortal stage, we do that. We do anything to avoid responsibility. But as we start participating in community, as we start taking up a spiritual practice, as we start reading daily of our truth, as we start embodying that, we gently can uncover the truth that's right below the noise. It's just right below the noise. It's never left us. We may feel mortal. Oh, we have superpowers. And we all know that. Which takes us to that next phase, which is the metaphysician. And this is the exciting stage, right? This is where we realize that we can co-create our life with spirit. And it's fun. It's fun because we know cause and effect. We know the law of attraction, right? We've watched the movie The Secret, right? We've got it. We are creating parking spaces left and right? We're getting clear on who and whose we are. And we get to that place where what we think about and what we're grateful about is what is ours right here and right now. And there's no stopping us. Right? Everybody got a place in their life where they're like on fire, in the flow. It's all going. And I start to think that maybe I'm in control. No. Nope, not in control. There's a story of a woman, she's starting up for her morning jog and she's like stretching against a tree. You know, stretching out, making sure she's all limber. And this guy walks by and he's like, honey, it would be much better if you just used a saw. Right? And that's what being a metaphysician is kind of like, you know? We're just like, we've got it. We've got this whole thing wired. When in reality, we don't have it wired because we're not in control. We're never in control because everything changes, right? And all of those things that we're manifesting, if we're not really ready to own it, it goes away. That's what happens. Because now we're trying to control things through our prayer, through our cause and effect stuff. But we're losing sight of a few things. We're losing sight of our spiritual integrity. Because we're no longer coming from a place of reverence, a place of openness, a place of willingness. I'm willing to be willing. When we're manifesting that life of our dreams, we are not willing to be willing. We are, right? But we are so much more than just our mental efforts. We've got a whole toolbox of who we really are, which takes us to that place of being a mystic, that place in your life where there is reverence, where there's a sense of joy, a sense of willingness to surrender the control, to listen, to seek guidance. Ernest Holmes, the mystic is one who senses the divine power. The mystic, that's when we're in a place in our life where we just want to sit and breathe and watch the clouds, right? And yes, we're in action, but we're comfortable in our own skin. We don't need to prove anything. We don't need to demonstrate anything. We can just be. We're less reactive and we're more responsive. We feel this inner peace even though we know that there's that chaos happening in other areas of our life, of our world, right? But right here and right now, I've got everything I need and I'm okay. And we start to see things that are sacred around us, like the clouds, like each other. And we start to view it from that place of sacredness. And we feel, remember a time or an area in your life where you are in the flow? It's like, it's all good. It doesn't appear that way sometimes, but I feel it. I feel the goodness. A mystic, that's the part of you that suits up and shows up for meditation and doesn't want to leave it. It's the part of you that instead of reaching for the phone to text someone about how terrible things are, you reach for a book that reminds you how powerful and wonderful and loving you are. That mystic part of us is always around. We just have to sometimes reframe ourselves to get there. We have to be willing to let go of not only the control, but the need to fix. And just be open in the goodness. And the final stage is the master. And that's the one who is grounded, recognizes how empowered one is. Joel Goldsmith, do not pray to God for things. Pray to know God, and all things will simply appear. We all have areas where we're the master. We can just be the grounded one, open and willing, and no rose-colored glasses required kind of life. That little area, that little pocket of peace. We're no longer striving or pushing or pulling or doing any of that. We're just like sitting. We're just being willing to be willing and open to be open. And we are attracting to us all of these wonderful individuals that we get to support. We just get to love. That we just get them to be able to show up and be who they are without having to worry about it. That's when we've got some master going on. It's kind of like a life is like a living prayer, and I think some days we can do that. Some days, not so much so. But the good news is that we're on this spiritual path and we're doing it together. And on days where we can't do it alone, there's always someone or something that is there to help and support. So as I said, We're not permanently in one stage. We're not moving from one to the other to the other. It's not a ladder. It's sort of like this life tapestry. And we get to play in each of these stages at different places in our lives, in different areas of our life. And they're not to be judged. There is some incredible value and merit in each and every stage. But it's about being able to sort of dance with it. To be able to dance with it. And to be able to love ourselves no matter what stage we're in, no matter what we're feeling. It's about being able to truly be ourselves without a judgment. Without a judgment. Now maybe you're not willing to share that with the whole world. Maybe there is a couple of people that are close that you can share it with. Maybe there aren't. There are practitioners in this center that already know our truth for us at that level of being in the flow of good. Being in that flow of good. When we get real about where we are, we no longer have to feel separated and stuck. When we apply our spiritual tools with intention, we can be empowered and awaken to that idea of choice. Choice, it's so important. When we surrender and listen to that inner guide, we become a more trusting individual. We become a more healing presence for everyone around us. And when we choose to be love in action, when we choose to be awakened and whole and just being ourselves around others, when we choose to do that, there's nothing better. Every stage is sacred, every stage offers us wisdom, and it all requires us to be real. That's sort of the message. We need to be real. It's not about pretending. It's not about hiding in the sand. It's about remembering how powerful, how loving, and how uniquely incredible each and every one of us is all of the time, whether we're feeling it or not. This week, I invite all of us to sit up and show up as our whole self, to remember our truth, to let out there take up too much of what's in here, because it can. And if it does, it's by our own choice. Declare this with me. I am the light.
I am the light.
I act from love.
I act from love.
I am divine expression.
I am divine expression.
That is our truth, you guys. And as we move to that, as we declare that daily, as we allow that to sink in, then life becomes so sweet. And all of that, as Goldsmith says, just sort of works itself out. That's the truth. So it is. Namaste.